You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, folks, again, we're talking about that news conference today where it just got absolutely wild and crazy. And Dr. Fauci was asked a question dealing with the shutdowns in New York and California, now Illinois. Here's what he had to say.
I'd like him to go back to the State Department, or as they call it, the Deep State Department, if you don't mind. I'd like to have him go back and do his job. So does anybody have any question? Please.
All right, so what you had also, folks, going on today was this whole issue of, again, the drug and the testing. And then, of course, you had that exchange that took place between Donald Trump and Peter Alexander with NBC News. Go to my iPad, please. I'm going to play it from here, folks. And so just listen to this. I'm going to break it down with our panel.
Prescribed for many years for people to combat malaria, which was a big problem, and it's very effective. It's a strong drug. So we'll see.
Effective against SARS.
It was, as I understand that, is that a correct statement? It was fairly effective on SARS.
John, you've got to be careful when you say fairly effective. It was never done in a clinical trial. They compared it to anything. It was given to individuals and felt that maybe it worked. So
was there anything to compare it to?
Well, that's the point. Whenever you do a clinical trial, you do standard of care versus standard of care plus the agent you're evaluating. That's the reason why we showed back in Ebola why particular interventions worked.
Sir, on that topic, Mr. President, about the possible therapies yesterday, Mr. President, you said that they were for, quote, immediate delivery. Immediate, we heard from
we're ordering, yes, we have millions of units ordered. Bayer is one of the companies, as you know, big company, very big, very great company. Millions of units are ordered, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to be talking to the governors about it, and the FDA is working on it right now. The advantage is that it has been prescribed for a totally different problem, but it has been described for many years, and everybody knows the levels of the negatives and the positives. But I will say that I am a man that comes from a very positive school when it comes to, in particular, one of these drugs, and we'll see how it works out, Peter. I'm not saying it will, but I think that people may be surprised. By the way, that would be a game changer. But we're going to know very soon. But we have ordered millions of units. It's being ordered from Bayer, and there is a couple of companies also that do it.
For clarity, Dr. Fauci said there is no magic drug for coronavirus right now, which you would agree. I guess on this issue,
I think we only disagree a little bit.
Sorry.
I disagree. Maybe and maybe not. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. We have to see. We're going to know.
Is it possible that your impulse to put a positive spin on things may be giving Americans a false sense of hope?
No, I don't think so.
Misrepresenting the preparedness right now.
No, I don't think so. I think that I think it's got
the not yet approved drug.
Such a lovely question. Look, it may work and it may not work, and I agree with the doctor what he said. May work, may not work. I feel good about it. That's all it is, just a feeling. I'm a smart guy. I feel good about it. And we're going to see. You're going to see soon enough. And we have certainly some very big samples of people. If you look at the people, you have a lot of people that are in big trouble. And this is not a drug that obviously, I think I can speak from a lot of experience because it's been out there for over 20 years. So it's not a drug that you have a huge amount of danger with. It's not like a brand new drug that's been just created that may have an unbelievable monumental effect, like kill you. We're going to know very soon. And I can tell you, the FDA is working very hard to get it out. Right now, in terms of malaria, if you want it, you can have a prescription. You get a prescription. And by the way, and it's very effective. It works. I have a feeling you may, and I'm not being overly optimistic or pessimistic. I sure as hell think we ought to give it a try. I mean, there's been some interesting things happened and some good, very good things. Let's see what happens. We have nothing to lose. You know the expression? What the hell do you have to lose? Okay?
So what do you say to Americans who are nearly 200 dead? What do you say to Americans who are scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say. Go ahead.
I
I think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people. The American people are looking for answers, and they're looking for hope. And you're doing sensationalism, and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast. I call it Concast. Let me just for whom you work. Let me just say something. That's really bad reporting. And you ought to get back to reporting instead of sensationalism. Let's see if it works. It might and it might not. I happen to feel good about it, but who knows? I've been right a lot. Let's see what happens, John.
Can I get back to the science and the logistics?
You're gonna be ashamed of yourself.
The units that were...
All right. Talk about absolutely arrogance there. Let's bring in right now my panel. Dr. Niambe Carter, she, of course, Howard University Department of Political Science. Mustafa Santiago Ali, former senior advisor for environmental justice, EPA. Here's the thing with that whole exchange there. First of all, yesterday, he said the FDA approved it. They didn't. They had to release a statement last night saying that was not the case. He gave the impression that it was a cure. It wasn't. The timeline we showed, treatments means cure. No, it doesn't. The problem here, which is what Peter Alexander was getting to, is you're lying. He didn't want to say it, but he should have said it. What he should have said is, you constantly lied, and they had to correct things. Remember, the Oval Office address. 3 different things he said, they were all lies. They had to come back and correct those things immediately after the speech. He stood up and talked about the hospital ships. They're still in port, getting repaired. They're not going to be able to go out for a couple of months. He makes announcements, and it's not rooted in fact. That's really what Peter Alexander was saying, and then he got pissed off.
Well, I mean, and Alexander gave him a softball at the end. What would you say?
First of all, it wasn't even a softball. That was a snowball.
Right. I mean, but it
was melting.
Right. But it was an easy way for him to say something presidential, right? He could have had an easy win because everybody gets all excited once he says something that actually makes him sound like a leader, and then he gets all this positive press. He had a moment, and instead he got caught flat-footed and does what he always does. He pivots. It's the media's fault. The media is not making up a global pandemic. The media is not making up coronavirus.
It's so like Chris Rock. It's the media. When Chris was talking about somebody, he's like, he said, it wasn't the media when you got robbed at the ATM machine. Stop trying to blame the media.
And I think this is par for the course, because the truth is he doesn't understand what's happening. He doesn't understand public health. He certainly doesn't understand leadership. And anytime you have to have Anthony Fauci sit right next to you and then come back to the podium and correct again, I mean, it's just creating a more difficult problem for the CDC and other agencies that actually do understand health and healthcare crises.
And that right there, Mustafa, is the fundamental problem that we're dealing with. You cannot trust what comes out of his mouth. You can't.
Right. The president has been, he's been in a situation since the first day that he came into office where he was not prepared, and when he was in over his head. I mean, just look at all of the choices that he's made. Sensationalism was the only thing that the president had going for him. He would find the most sensational aspects of different policy, of various things, and that would be what he would focus on, making it in a negative or flipping it and trying to make the country believe that we were in a better place than we actually were. I resigned from the federal government over 3 years ago now. I started talking about the coronavirus in January the 24th because I found out from some other scientists how serious they thought it was in mid-January. So if somebody who does not work and does not have the same access that the president does can know how serious this is, then it says something about the president.
It was another exchange I think this is Cecilia Vega on ABC. Go to my iPad, please.
I'm just thinking the application here. So that would be under sort of a modified compassionate access?
We're doing that, I guess, and that's what it's called, yeah. Yes.
I would like Dr. Fauci, if you don't mind, to follow up on what the president is saying. Should Americans have hope in this drug right now? And, sir, I would like to follow up on Peter's question here. Could you please address Americans in this country who are scared right now? This is a very valid concern that people have.
No, there really isn't that much of a difference in many respects with what we're saying. The president feels optimistic about something, his feeling about it. What I'm saying is that it might be effective. I'm not saying that it isn't. It might be effective, but as a scientist, as we're getting it out there, we need to do it in a way as while we are making it available for people who might want the hope that it might work, you're also collecting data that will ultimately show that it is truly effective and safe under the conditions of COVID-19. So there really isn't different. It's just a question of how one feels about it.
Is there any reason to believe it's not safe?
Well, certainly as a drug, any drug, John, has some toxicities. The decades of experience that we have with this drug indicate that the toxicities are rare and they are, in many respects, reversible. What we don't know is when you put it in the context of another disease, whether it's safe. Fundamentally, I think it probably is going to be safe. But I like to prove things first. So it really is a question of not a lot of difference. It's the hope that it will work versus proving that it will work. So I don't see big differences here.
I agree.
Sir, your message to Americans who are working at home, who have their children in their homes right now, who are homeschooling,
Go ahead.
doctors who say they don't have the masks they need to do their jobs, your message to them.
My message to the American people is that there is a very low incidence of death. You understand that. And we're going to come through this stronger than ever before. If you get it, if you happen to get it, it is highly unlikely. It's looking like it's getting to a number that's much smaller than people originally thought in terms of the ultimate problem, which would be death. My message to the American people is, number one, you've done an incredible job. Incredible what you've gone through. It's been incredible. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault. It wasn't the fault of 140 other countries where this has happened. And there is tremendous hope. And I think we're going to come out stronger, better, bigger in every way. I think we're going to be a better country than we were before. And we learned a lot. We learned on reliance, who to rely on, who not to rely on. But our country has been incredible, the way they pulled together, including the fact that I just spoke to Senator Schumer. We had a wonderful conversation. We both want to get to a good solution. But it's been really, for me, watching and seeing people that weren't speaking, getting along well, because we all have one common aim, and that's to get rid of this invisible enemy, get rid of it fast, and then go back to the kind of economy that we had, and maybe even better. Yeah, please, in the back. No, in the back.
This is what, again, it's the lying. First of all, y'all let it run, because I'm looking for something else. No, go to the split screen. Because I'm looking to pull the audio down. I'm looking for something.
We're going to be helping them a lot. We're going to be focused.
Why the hell is Sean Spicer asking a question? Hold up. I'm sorry.
Focus of that conversation.
What the hell was that?
They are really the engine behind our country. More so
Sean Spicer all of a sudden is in the, yeah, pull the audio down. What the hell was that? Sean Spicer, really? He pulled the audio down of that just for us. Here's the whole piece here. He lies. To sit there and say, well, it's not, it's all about death. There are more people who are dead today than a month ago. We said it, 16,000 cases. The numbers increasing in New York State, in Washington State, in Louisiana. What world is this dude living in?
But this is the thing. Donald Trump has routinely done this, which is play fast and loose with the facts, and then you have to have other people come clean it up. And the fact of the matter is people will continue to die because he's very cavalier about this, saying, oh, you'll just get sick. Like it's just going to be a case of the sniffles. This is a very serious disease, and I think he's treating this as if it's just a cold or it's just something that won't really kill that many people. But isn't one person dying one too many, particularly when we knew in January that this was happening, particularly when you had health officials saying this thing is coming, and if we don't test people and we're not proactive, this is going to spread. This is exactly what happened. And now we're here reaping the whirlwind.
There's a reason states are shutting down.
Absolutely.
I had a guy who, matter of fact, John Ziegler, he's been, first of all, I think I have the Sean, go to my iPad. I think I have the Sean Spicer question. I'm still laughing at it. Go.
No, in the back, please.
Mr. President, I have two questions, if you'll indulge me. The first question is, many small businesses are concerned that they have weeks, not months, and are worried about how long it'll take.
We're going to be helping them a lot. We're going to be focused, a big focus, and including my conversation with both Mitch and with Chuck, a big focus of that conversation with small business.
Here's the thing that it is baffling here. The governor of California says shelter in place because, based upon the numbers that we've run, 56% of all Californians are going to get this. There are 40 million people in California. he's saying more than 20 million are going to get it. To then go, oh, this thing is slowing down, but it's like, no, that's something that's actually happening in the world, and then it's something totally different in his brain.
Right. But you have to, so let's go back just a little bit in history. The president has never believed in science. When
there you go.
See science folks talking, he ignores them. When he came in, he tried to get rid of all the science advisory committees. He began to take scientists away from their scientific jobs and put them in accounting jobs and other types of things at other agencies where people left. At the Environmental Protection Agency, he did everything that he could to manipulate science so that he could manipulate policy so that those who are making profit could continue to do so and to expand that. And here's the other part. The president lives in a billionaire bubble. He lives in a place where he is protected from many of the things that everyday people have to deal with. Now, Corona may be a different situation where, yes, he may actually get impacted because he may actually contract the virus. But his administration has lived. They have created policy. They have implemented different types of steps from this privilege paradigm, which I call the billionaire bubble, where you think you can do whatever you need to do and you will always be okay, and the folks on the outside just have to live with it.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, so a lot of y'all are always asking me about some of the pocket squares that I wear. Now, Robert don't have one on. Nope. Now, I don't particularly like the white pocket squares. I don't like even the silk ones. And so I was reading GQ magazine a number of years ago, and I saw this guy who had this pocket square here, and it looks like a flower. This is called a shibori pocket square. This is how the Japanese manipulate the fabric to create this sort of flower effect. So I'm going to take it out and then place it in my hand so you see what it looks like. And I said, man, this is pretty cool. And so I tracked down, it took me a year to find a company that did it. And so they make these about 47 different colors. And so I love them because, again, as men, we don't have many accessories to wear. So we don't have many options. And so this is really a pretty cool pocket square. Now, what I love about this here is you saw when it's in the pocket, you know, it gives you that flower effect like that. But if I wanted to also, unlike other, because if I flip it and turn it over, it actually gives me a different type of texture. And so therefore, it gives me a different look. So there you go. So if you actually want to get one of these shibori pocket squares, we have them in 47 different colors. All you got to do is go to rolandsmartin.com/pocket squares. All right, so first of all, that graphic is way too small. So tomorrow we're going to run it right down here all across the screen. So it's rolandsmartin.com/pocket squares. All you got to do is go to my website and you can actually get this. Now, for those of you who are members of our Bring the Funk fan club, there's a discount for you to get our pocket squares. That's why you also got to be a part of our Bring the Funk fan club. And so that's what we want you to do. And so it's pretty cool. So if you want to jazz your look up, you can do that. In addition, y'all see me with some of the feather pocket squares. My sister, who's a designer, she actually makes these. They're all custom made. So when you also go to the website, you can also order one of the customized feather pocket squares right there at rolandsmartin.com/pocket squares. So please do so. And of course, that goes to support the show. And again, if you're a Bring the Funk fan club member, you get a discount. This is why you should join the fan club. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.